Well, when you work for your family, you kind of don't really have it's kind of like you just jump in and help wherever you need to. I guess you could say kind of company officer, but come harvest time, I'm driving tractors or negotiating contracts. Come blueberry season, we're picking blueberries and running the packing line, gathering cows. So there's really not like a one level title. My brother and I have a cow-calf operation up in Northern California, the same place where we grow blueberries. Obviously, they're separate. But yes, we have Angus cows, Hereford bulls, so it's the A1 cross. And we raise the young calves, and then sell them off, and then they go to finish and then be harvested. The ones here are more for play. We're actually my brother and I are gonna start a couple years down the road a little operation of grass-fed longhorn, because longhorn is actually the leanest meat of the bovine species. And so we're gonna start that up, but we're gonna grow our herd a little bit more. But the cows up in Laytonville are basically your black cows, Angus cows. So not as pretty to look at, but good producers. We grow primarily Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Malbec, Petit Verdot, Aleatico, Barbera, Zin, Syrah, did I already say Syrah? And then Tannat is our newest varietal. We're actually the only grower in District 3 that grows Aleatico. Probably 12, 14 years ago, my dad put the Aleatico in. We were selling a lot of fruit to Vianza Winery, and my dad and Sam Sebastiani were very good friends, and personal friends, but then also business relationship. And so he asked us to put it in because, the Italian varietals, they did, of course, a rosé, but then they also did a red wine, and then they also did a dessert wine. So they had 3 different wine styles for that one specific varietal. And so we've kept it, and we sell it to a couple wineries around Sonoma County. And we recently are creating a new little project of our own for the Ceres Ranch wine label. We are pretty known in the valley. I'm 5th generation. My nephews are 6th generation, so we've been here for quite a while. And like you said earlier, we grow blueberries, so I'd probably say we're just as well known for our blueberries, if not more, than the grapes. But we do have quite the following, and so we thought that it would be best to put our name on the label to move forward. Yes, I would have to agree. I would say, I would never knock Napa because they do a very good job with their farming practices and their winemaking, and they have a good product, but I think that Sonoma has just as good. And one of, the strengths of Sonoma is that our county is so diverse that you can grow many different varietals from, Chardonnay to Pinot Noir to Cabernet to Tannat to Aleatico. The list is endless. We have different microclimates in the different areas. So for instance, like the Alexander Valley is more of a hotter region, warmer region. And then for instance, the Los Carneros AVA is super cool and has that coastal climate as well as Sonoma Coast, of course. And then Sonoma Valley, I would say it gets, moderately warm in the summertime, but it cools down at night. And I would say that's the difference between, for instance, Alexander Valley and the Sonoma Valley is Sonoma Valley cools off at night when Alexander Valley has those longer degree days because it stays warm. So basically, my dad started in the viticulture world. He planted grapes. His first vineyard went in 1986, before I was born. And then he was always, into the winemaking side, but just did homemade stuff. Everyone loved it and raved about it. And so we've always had the goal to one day have our own wine label, but it just never really came to fruition. They dabbled a little bit with some other stuff, but it just didn't come out the way my dad wanted it. And he's has very high standards for his product. And so I went to college down at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, majored in wine and viticulture with an emphasis in enology. I've always had an interest in the winemaking side. And so from there, came home, took over the homemade winemaking stuff. And so that's really fun because it's something that my dad and I can do. And then my brother comes in. Well, I have 2 older brothers, so they come in and help when it's in dire need because they're very busy themselves. And so then we have our annual bottling party. So it's always been a big party and fun, and just, you know, that's what wine's all about. It's just fun, bringing everyone together. And then we've always talked about the idea of, okay, we need to put our name on the shelf, so to speak. And it never really came to fruition. Then finally we're like, okay, better do it now before everyone jumps off into other direction and adds new businesses or whatever may happen. So we started off with 2018, and that's when we brought in our first vintage, and we have all red grapes, so it does take a while for our grapes to lay down in the bottle, obviously age in the barrel and then mature in the bottle. So with this bigger red wine that we are making, our first vintage will be released in 2021.